we can still breathe. Let your building breathe.
Scott Brown here. In today's exciting episode, we are going to explain what this breathable plastic mesh is for. Nice view. So you've taken another window out.
Yeah, we're a bit at that crack house stage where, I mean, look at the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
So, how did you leave us last time? With the flooring, hey, one sheet of ply down. But hey, you know, I got my floor down, I got some partition walls up, got my new doorway to the bedroom, 2 new windows. We found that the house was leaning 10 mil that way.
Yeah.
So we actually pushed it back a bit.
Seriously? Yeah. Well, this is a lot of progress, Raymond.
Thank you. You don't see it anymore at some point. Sure.
We're here every day, right?
Yeah, it's just one screw at a time.
So what are we doing then, Ray? Seems like we've got a few different options.
Yeah, we can do a bit of weatherboards today. We can also choose to do framing of the new ensuite. We're not going to have a flat ceiling, we're going to have ceiling up to the rafters. And there's going to be a round skylight. We could frame up the top walls. That's an option. Or we start with a coffee.
We've got 3 options.
3 options. Great choice. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Oh
Nice.
my God, you got an Irish with coffee.
How dare you, it's Scottish.
Oh.
So this is a pretty typical site on an old timber house like this?
A crack in the weatherboard. When you're installing them, you might think like, oh, just put a bit of PVA glue there and then still use it, because it's a pity to throw away a board. But a crack like this looks very minimal, but then you go on the outside and there's moisture just all the way down. You see, it just tracks all the way, and all this is wet.
And that is also why we put flat soakers over the joints. And a lot of people don't like the look of flat soakers, but that's why you do it. Because no matter how tight and how good your joint is, water finds a way. Goes to show, huh? The other knock-on effect of that is if you don't have paper there and you just stuff insulation in your wall, that moisture is going to get into your insulation. And if your insulation isn't wool or something more hydrophobic, like say if you use fiberglass insulation, that's going to get all wet and it's not going to dry out, and then that's how you get mold.
Can I show you something? Look at this.
What the heck is
It's like scrambled mesh. It's like a drainage mesh or a separation mesh.
Yeah.
So you put this between your weatherboard and your building paper when you retrofit insulation. Because the insulation, you put it in and it pushes against the paper.
Yeah.
And then this stops it from pushing against the weatherboard.
So because so much of this front is changing, windows gone, doors gone, one window is becoming a big window. This tall window that was here, that's disappeared. So much of it's changing, and these weatherboards that are left over are too short to bridge the gaps between the new openings. So what are you thinking? New cladding, everything?
I think I'd just go have a cry somewhere first and deal with the fact that I need to invest more in weatherboard.
Watch as the Dutchman calculates the amount of money he has to spend. 93 meters at $10 a meter plus GST, 15%. So that's 930 plus 15.
Yeah.
I can't work that out, but I'll put it there.
1150.
And as Ray said, this is the wall with the least amount of weatherboards because there's so many windows. Oh dear.
You just take the smile off your face when you say that.
So the Dutchman has found the weatherboard that he wants, but now he's haggling. He's haggling for a better price. What was the verdict? Does it fit? Are you buying it?
Yeah, man. I'm buying it.
Yeah. You're buying it? You got a good deal?
Yeah. No, I'm happy. I mean, anything they can do better, you know, it's just a plus. It's just cost left, right, and center, and this helps. This is the oil in the system.
Yeah, I see. Now, speaking of money, let's pay the bills. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform where you can build your online presence and run your business. If you need to build a website, why not use Squarespace?
Scott also needs to earn money. Hey?
Exactly. If you need to build a website, Squarespace is a fantastic website builder where you don't need to know how to code. Everything's there and built for you. All you have to do is drag and drop your different items such as your pictures and text, and the website will be made for you. Squarespace have thousands of templates to choose from, so you're bound to find a website that looks the way you want your business to look. And now that you can invoice your clients straight from your website, even your invoices will match the look of your templates. How great is that? They have portfolios and galleries so you can showcase your work. And if you're selling a product, they also have e-commerce tools, and they're built into the platform. So whether you're selling a product or a service, you can do both with Squarespace. And they also have a free trial, so you have nothing to lose. But once you're ready to launch your own website, make sure you go to squarespace.com/Scott Brown Carpentry, and you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. There's so many factors to consider when you're doing retrofit installation. You can't make it like a new build. The new build way would be to have paper over a frame and then have a cavity batten system. So there's a 20mm gap between the paper and the cladding. But that is like, you're asking a lot by doing that. You're changing the whole system.
We got a building consent for retrofitting installation and not changing the cladding.
Yeah.
If we would put a cavity system on here, which is 20mm on top of this frame,
Yep.
we would need deeper windows. We would need like a whole
system, a whole change.
Which
is like an amendment on a consent. You're asking for a different project, and it's a lot more money because you'd be taking all the cladding off the house.
Yeah, and don't even talk about the cost of the cladding. We've been there. Felt like yesterday. Man, that's a big door. That is a big door.
All the way to there too. That stud's not meant to be there.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's
It's nice and straight, Ray. It's like you built the wall. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, can't actually beat that.
After 70 years.
70 years and the wall's straight. It's unheard of. Even here, yeah. Yeah, look at that. 45. That's crazy.
I don't only want to make it about the money, but that's a pricey product. Yeah. So that's the separation mesh, which would allow 8mm cavity between the old weatherboard. But there's different ways of installing it. We can put it in between the studs, or we just get a whole roll along the building, which means it will be in between the weatherboard and the stud. So I just want to see if it squashes down. If it doesn't, we can't do it like this. That's not bad, eh? There's like a millimeter between. You're stuffing insulation in your wall which wants to push. So it would push the building paper against the weatherboard, and then condensation can just sit there. And this separates it, so you still get a bit of air in there, and it can expand, contract, move. That's also why we planed the bottom plate, so that we have a bit of airspace between the weatherboard and the bottom plate. Any water buildup can drain out.
I've been building, what, 20 years? Never seen this before, this product. But to be fair, advanced building, especially to do with cladding and insulation, is quite a recent thing in New Zealand. We just got double glazing, right?
Yeah, internet last week. Man, it's been a crazy month. You probably did retrofit building wrap and insulation just by doing in between the studs and hard up against the weatherboard. We
tried to keep a gap, but yeah.
But it takes time.
Well, it's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you dealt with something like this before? What would you do for retrofitting insulation? It's not like new builds. You haven't got the luxury of a perfect design.